In California. Just can't afford to live there. It's so funny. Just all the things that go on.
Welcome to the Sedona Soul Sisters Show, down-to-earth discussions on metaphysics, paranormal, and spiritual topics.
The Soul Sisters are myself, Rosin Reynolds, Ivory Lanou, my partner here, and we are in Sedona, Arizona, in our offices just about every day, it feels like.
Home away from home.
We really are. So we receive visitors from all over the world, and if you're coming to the Sedona area, please come by. And if our services could help you, we would love to accommodate you with that. So
we also have, excuse me, a new little tickle there. We have a new soul sister joining us. That's Terry Ann, and she'll be joining us here on the show shortly, not today, but on a nearby show, to introduce herself so you can feel her energy and hear what her work is about. Today's topic, though, is how to manifest. So if you have questions or comments about today's topic, you can type them into the show's chat room on Crowdcast, and we will answer your questions live on the show if you ask them before the end of the show in the chat room. And you can welcome to leave comments there as well.
So this is a huge topic now. I see it written everywhere. I hear people talking about it. Of course, being in Sedona, you are constantly exposed to spiritual and metaphysical topics that might not be floating around out there in the rest of the world, but I read this all over in all kinds of different publications.
I just talked about it in my last session today, just talking about that. And Roz and I laugh because it seems like we're getting so good at manifesting, it surprises us. Like we'll say, here's what we really need. And we're thinking, well, you know, the odds aren't great about this. And then a few days later, that's exactly what we'll get.
I call that boom.
Yeah, I like boom.
I do too.
But the thing to be careful about is with the boom can be a negative thing too.
Yes.
So what you talk about, what you think about is what you're manifesting, whether you know it or not. So you can get a negative boom if you're thinking about worrying things that might happen or talking about things that could happen. You might get a boom, all right, and it won't be a pleasant one.
One of my favorite things that I tell myself and clients too is be careful what you say. Be careful what you think about, because our words and thoughts are incredibly powerful. So if you're thinking about what you want, that's a great thing when boom happens. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, when you really focus on what you don't want and what you're unhappy about, and that becomes very cyclical, you can get the wrong kind of boom. So it's a really important mindfulness and consciousness lesson for us. And, you know, we're not perfect here. We have gifts and we try to help people with them, but we work on our own stuff all the time. And those are habits that kind of are established in our culture. Getting focused on what you're not happy about, you know, whining, complaining, negative words, negative thoughts. Got to watch that stuff.
I think one of the biggest ones lately is people wanting to manifest a romantic partner. Kind of goes on with what we talked about last week. But if you are thinking about, if you're really focusing on what went wrong with all your other relationships and how your partners failed you and disappointed you, I just want you to hear what you're doing is asking the universe to send you another person like that.
And I think also, you know, when we're focused on what we see as is wrong with us. Now, there's working on your stuff. Of course, we all do that. We have to do that. But The opposite side of that is just constantly beating yourself up, being negative about the things that you don't like about yourself. And we all have things we don't like about ourselves. But the real truth here is being focused on working on improvements, working on change, working on shifting your energy into a focus where you're going to manifest the things that you do desire. That's a lot of work, and it goes on constantly.
And I just want to be super clear here, because I've had people ask some questions lately that made me realize in sessions, made me realize that though you may have heard the term manifesting, you may not understand what it's about. Let me tell you, it's not anything to do with magic. We do not practice magic here at Sedona Soul Sisters, but it is about manipulating energy, and we like to do that.
Yeah. And I feel like, you know, one of the things that we talk about is, you know, we don't do spells, rituals, magic, any of those things, but we do have a very strong belief system and a very strong energetic focus, and realize that when we are focused on things at a very highly determined level, we are creating an energy effect that goes out from us. And, you know, the law of attraction thing, I mean, that's been around for a long time, the terminology of that, the thought of that. So attracting good things, attracting the things you want to see happening in your life, I mean, that's a part of, you know, that learning process of kind of mindfulness and self-management. And it's something I have to think about every day.
Me too. I caught myself last night. I did something, it was some little thing, and I thought, oh, stupid. And I thought it, but I caught myself before I said it. And then I stopped myself and thought, that is not how I want to think of myself. That's something I heard from childhood, somebody who wasn't being very nice. And it kind of comes back squeaking through all these years and slithers its way through and comes out into my consciousness. But it is about stopping yourself and just thinking, you think a thought, it's not good, it's not positive about yourself or someone else, and you just stop it and you turn it onto something positive. Only you can do that. So
we kind of have a joke, Ed and I kind of have a joke about, because I can get pretty snarly. No. And so we have this joke. We met some people some years back, and they had a little dog. And I think it was part Chihuahua. It was just the cutest little dog. But when it was not happy, it would kind of lift its lip on one side and kind of do this little thing. And so we always remind ourselves, don't go into that mode. Don't go into that mindset. Because when you start that thing, you are creating a hugely powerful, kind of like in your toroidal sphere of your auric field, you're creating this energy, sort of like it's a vortexy thing, really, and it's flying around, and then you're constantly infecting yourself with these negative thoughts and energy. So you do have to do that. You do have to go, whoa, I'm going to stop this right now. Let me take some deep breaths. Let me get calm, and let me refocus on how I would like to see things.
And I know there's people out there who listen to this and they're like, oh, I don't know. I'm skeptical. Here's a way you can prove it to yourself. And I've done this. Get yourself an aura photo. The first photo, you're thinking about yourself with love, and you're thinking of all the things you like about yourself, your strengths. And then the second photo, think negative thoughts about yourself.
Or anything else.
And look at the two pictures, and
yes,
you will be astounded at the difference in your energetic field.
And the thing is that those colors that come up in an auric photo, those are frequencies. And those frequencies have energy moving around in them too. So if you're creating a negative, low frequency energy around yourself, I mean, you're just putting yourself in a very compromised position to find the happiness and the joy that is in your life and to be focused on that. Manifesting what you want is all about how your focus of energy is going. There's always going to be trials and tribulations. There's always going to be challenges. We have lessons going on all the time where we're learning how to cope with things, how to deal with things, no matter, from the day you come here until the day you leave. It's kind of like a whole process of learning and self-management and creating the energy that you want to bring you the things you want is crucial, I think, to being happy. And we, unfortunately, we do find that a lot of people that come to see us are at very unhappy points in their life. And they're dwelling and they're replaying.
They get stuck.
That energy, yeah. And you do get stuck in that. And it's rough.
The nice thing, sorry, I've got this little allergy thing going. The nice thing about this, though, the more you consciously manifest, the more it happens naturally. And I'm going to give you a little example of that it just makes me laugh just thinking about it. Back when I was still singing with a Celtic band, we were singing at a big thing in Vegas. And we had our sales booth for our CDs set up. And I was coming off stage and I said to our manager, I said, I really need a massage in the worst way. And we turned the corner. And setting up next to our booth was a massage school giving free massages, chair massages. And the manager turned and looked at me and he said, "You scare me sometimes." And I think you just get into the habit of thinking about what you want and talking about what you want. And you'll be surprised. I know I'm not alone with that. No way.
And I'm a great believer in making a list. I'm like a person who likes to write things down. That's a really amazing tool to use for manifestation. And turning those goals and those focuses and those desires into an affirmation list just kind of flows along with that, where you're doing on a daily basis visualization of the things you would like to create and manifest. And you're also saying it, so you have the power of the word. You're visualizing it, so you have the power of seeing it. Wow, it's an amazing and powerful process. It's so simple. We can all do that.
And if you're not sure where to start, if you want so many things to be different in your life, I suggest you start with yourself, literally building up your self-esteem, building up how you see yourself, how you feel about yourself, because everything else stems from that. So if you're not sure what you want to manifest, just start saying good things to yourself and thinking good thoughts in your head. And I'm a huge believer. When I worked in mental health, I had my patients doing affirmations, and I have my clients doing them now, and I do them. And you don't know what affirmations are. It's writing down a statement that you wish to be true about yourself or your life. For instance, I am easily loved. I'm a lovable person. People enjoy my company. Those are all affirmations. And you read them out loud, looking in the mirror, saying it like you mean it 3 times every morning, 3 times every night, until you say it and you know in your heart you mean it. It's no longer an affirmation. It's become reality. Then you replace that one with something new.
And that's a really good point, I think. Just talking about things is powerful. But when you infuse that into your life, into your energy, into your heart, our heart is just amazing. The electrical field of our heart has been measured much farther than our arc field. So when your heart is focused on the things that you would like to create in your life, that is a very powerful law of attraction tool that we use. And I feel like when we say these affirmations, it's not just that it's just the simple words. We're feeling it. We're feeling that in our heart. And my affirmation that I try to start every day with, of course I get off track, everybody does, but is everything is working out for my highest and best good. What could be finer? Of course, that's what we all want. So it's really important to just get it down to the basics.
I agree. And something we have done here, we need to get back to doing it more often. But when we get together, me and Roz and Ed, and we manifest together as a team, and we put our energies into what we want to see happen for ourselves, our business, how many people we want to be able to help, the ways we want to be able to help people, we see things start to change very rapidly. I think it makes a huge difference.
I do too. And I remember when all my kids were very young, I had 4 kids in 5 years. So there was a lot going on there. I used to call it the 4-ring circus. But at the end of the day, we would gather and we would say our prayers and affirmations in the evening. And we would talk about working on the things that we were struggling with. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's hard to, when you're a kid, it's hard to separate yourself from just being buffeted by all the energy around you. But learning to focus your energy and then also placing your auric field in a bubble of light and happiness and joy and seeing the things you want. Wow. I mean, you're like in your own little sphere there. And it's very cool.
There are organized groups that meet together to manifest, but you can do this with a few friends. I know families who manifest together. I have one client family who they were jointly manifesting every day about a new house for themselves. They wanted to own their first house. They wanted it to be a certain way. And within 3 months, they were in that house. So, pick some people who want the same thing you do, have similar goals, get together and just manifest, put it out there and ask for them to add their energy and their intentions to it as well. And just be prepared for some wonderful pow.
Yeah. And when it happens, the very next thing is, thank you.
Oh, yes.
The gratitude.
Thank you.
You feel that gratitude anyway, but speak it, say it. Be thankful for the things that suddenly, your energy has created a field that's pulled that in. And then, wow, I'm always, going, thank you for all my blessings. Thank you. Thank you.
Roz and I experienced a series of 3 amazing manifestings that we created recently, where I walked around for about a week and a half going, thank you, God. Thank you, angels. Thank you, God. And just every time I thought about it, I was like, this is incredible. Thank you, God.
It's really mind-blowing when it happens.
Even to us.
Yeah, it is. You're so cultured to think, oh, that can't happen. You have to get out of that.
We had one today.
Mindset.
Think about the thermostat.
We did. We actually did. We're having an incredible cold snap here in Arizona and the surrounding states. And in fact, yesterday it was colder in Phoenix than it was in Anchorage, Alaska. What's up with that?
Wow.
But the whole truth of the matter is that we had a situation here where Ivory was in here. I took a couple of days off, and she was in here, and she had to wear a coat all day because she could not ever get it warm. And we're in a building that has a stone exterior, so when it gets really cold, you're feeling that come in from the walls. So called the landlord, and they immediately sent somebody over to take a look, thinking it was the unit. Well, it was the thermostat, and we were like, oh well, we'll just make do. Boom, a new thermostat.
Yeah, it's already installed.
Like, thank you. It's little things that you might not even think about.
That's a lesson to us.
It is. And
Anytime.
It's a lesson too,
Yeah.
just to be constantly ready to receive. And when you do receive, it's a blessing, and you're so happy. So take it to whatever level you want to take it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. I've shocked myself at times in my life when I said, I want this to happen, and this is how I want it to happen, and I want it to happen now. Please, can you please arrange this and just let it roll the way it needs to? And then I'm utterly stunned when it does. That's like maybe lack of faith. I don't know. But
I don't know. Human nature. We have to overcome that. I went through this incredibly difficult period of life that just left me, an experience that left me depleted spiritually and emotionally, and it was a really rough time. But I came up with a plan for myself, and I started manifesting what my spiritual practice would be like, where it was going to be, how it was going to be, building a business of my own. I put it all on paper. I had it pinned to my mirror in the bathroom. And all of that was in my affirmations and my manifesting practice. And my friends were like, wow, you really had that detailed. And then as it unfolded very quickly, once I made my move, they're like, I can't believe it. You're the only person I know, like everything you had on your list, you're doing. Everything you said you'd have, you do.
That's so cool. It's a happy thing.
Even coming out of a horrible time in life, you can do that. That's my point, is you don't have to be at the best place in life. You don't have to be completely balanced or feeling the healthiest. You can just start right now, no matter what's going on in your life, and change it to what you want it to be.
So give all of this some serious consideration, because I think we're in a very difficult time right now. We have a lot of very negative, very unpleasant people saying unpleasant things, doing unpleasant things. We don't have to get focused on that. And this is a little battle that I deal with every day, because I'm a little bit of a junkie on news and, things like that. I just like to read, but I want to read a wide spectrum of information. But the things that I find stressful, hurting people, hurting animals, hurting the environment, hurting the land, those things are very difficult for me. So I have to work on this every day. And I think we have to realize that our manifesting also is about using our higher consciousness to facilitate change. Because every day when I read about the children being hurt, the animals, the land, the water, I'm constantly in my mind focusing on seeing that shift, asking to be connected with the World Wide Web of light workers, light warriors, to constantly enhance the energy to facilitate manifesting a better place for us all. Not this dark, envisionment of everything terrible happening. No, like we can't get focused on that. So manifesting as a tool can encompass a huge picture.
I think that's very important, is it's not just about us and our lives, but there's very few people who are of the light, who are good people, caring people, who don't have a deep, sincere desire to make a change in the world right now. So here's something you can do, manifesting. And I agree with you with tuning into that network, that worldwide network of light workers, light warriors, who are all doing the same thing. Because just as we talked about earlier, how manifesting in groups is more powerful, imagine a worldwide network. And that is what's happening. So join in on that. See it in your mind. Just kind of visualize that field going around the planet, and you're tuning right in and becoming part of it and adding your manifesting to what's already happening. I know we can make a difference. The angels have shown me and told me we can make a difference.
Yeah. And tapping into our guidance in the, higher frequencies, the celestial connections, and then using that knowing and that connection that you have to see these changes taking place all over the world, to me, all over the universe, everywhere, is so incredibly deep. And it affects you at a level, it just changes your whole energetic field to put you in a better place. Because getting focused on everything bad that's going to happen, if you're going to facilitate change and you see these negative events, and I think there are many of us who are psychically very intuitive right now who are seeing those things, but we're not sitting around going, oh, okay, everything's going to come to an end. No, we're like, wait a minute. We're going to send some energy into this. We're going to shift this mindset, this heart set. We're going to create a consciousness of loving change. And that's all about manifesting. So give it some thought. I mean, you have a lot more power than you think you have. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, you don't have to be a psychic or a medium or anything special to do this work. Any human being can do this. I honestly think we're all meant to be manifesting because it's so powerful and everybody can do it. We're meant to be doing that.
And I think, many people, when we use the term manifesting, that's another thing. Like many people do this in a format of prayer.
Mm-hmm.
They do it in a format of, utilizing their particular, whatever their particular spiritual focus is. These are all things that are discussed over the millennium of time about having powerful results to facilitate change. And people are always saying, what can I do? I'm just one person. Whoa, like here it is.
Light is so powerful. The energy of light is extremely powerful. Joined together with other people doing the same thing, and it becomes like this army of light, which is really the most powerful way to affect change. I mean, you can go out there and you can picket and you can petition, you can go out and march and marches, but you actually affect more change manifesting.
Heavy.
It is heavy.
It's like we're talking about all this, but it's heavy. It's heavy thought. So think about it. I mean,
yes. Is there a question?
You can change.
5 minutes?
About 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Boy, we just blithered on. We can go on this subject.
Yeah, we can really roll on this.
But I'm just thinking as we're talking about, Roz is talking about doing this on a worldwide level and joining in with this web. And I had this visualization that may be helpful for you. As we were talking about how even we can be surprised, like we'll talk about something and then boom, it happens. Imagine there's millions of us focusing on changing things in the world for the better, of bringing about peace and ending all the anger and the hatred and the hateful things happening out there. Imagine if just boom, it stopped. You'd be blown away.
Yeah, let's focus on that boom.
Yeah, boom, it just stops. Do we really need to know why? Do we really care why? As long as it happens, that's the important thing. So every time that you start to get overwhelmed by negative things that you're hearing about, you're reading about, you're seeing, I want you to do what you can. Yes, in the moment, if there's something you can do in the moment, you should do something, but then immediately turn to manifesting for what you want the world to be, what you want your life to be. And I truly think that is the answer to peace on earth.
I totally agree. I mean, I really feel like deep within us, there is a tremendous love. There is a tremendous purpose in seeing everything be in a positive and wonderful light. And we're always going to have people who take satisfaction in things when they're negative and get being grumpy and all that other stuff. I just don't think that the dark energy can hold a candle to the power of the light and love.
I agree.
That's a good ending note.
It is. And I want to say, because Roz and Ed is our engineer for the show, will be out of the state next week. We're going to be taking a break. So in 2 weeks, we'll be back, and the topic will be multi-dimensions. What are they? How do you access them? And we hope that you have an enlightening week.
Manifesting. So glad you joined us today. Thanks so much. If you have any questions, go to our website, SedonaSoulSisters.com. Check it out.
Check it in. That went so fast.
It did.
When Ed gave us the signal, I just couldn't